What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Sunday editions of Dudes Who Bet Daily. We're back to round out the week. Papa Dude, we saw a lot yesterday, I should say, that we need to talk about. So we're going to do our Sunday recap here, and we're definitely going to talk horse racing. Let's kick it off with Florida Derby. I think we saw the performance. I think a lot of us, including myself, have been waiting for. Holy cow. Fierceness runs off the screen. He wins by a record margin for the Florida Derby, 13.5 lengths. Previous record was 9 3/4. Also, he earned a 110 Beyer speed figure. That's tremendously higher than anybody else in this crop by far. He's done it twice now, if you count his Breeders' Cup Juvenile. What were your thoughts on Fierceness?
Well, coming into yesterday, we were looking for a couple stars, right?
Yep.
We were looking for somebody to move to the front. I don't know what else he could have done yesterday. You say he won by 13. He probably could have won by 20.
Yeah.
They really eased up a little bit, I thought, down the stretch. Just blew him away. We haven't seen that from him for a while. So the question is it just an every other thing? Is he going to be able to become consistent now? What's the deal? But wow, that was just a blowout. And now I think he's got to be considered one of the favorites.
I think he's the favorite. I think he's going to be 2-1, maybe. I mean, I think when you look at what the rest of this field is doing, and I think they're getting better. Like, I think we're seeing some improving horses. I don't think this field's just going to be, bad or anything, but it's not even close. I mean, he's so much better when he runs his best race than everybody else. Seriously, if he runs the Florida Derby race and the Kentucky Derby, and I'm not exaggerating, he'll probably win by about 6 lengths. I mean, that's how far he is ahead of everybody else. And I think the best example of that, as we transition to the Arkansas Derby, and we can still kind of talk about both of these horses, Muth goes to Arkansas, hadn't ran since January. He dusted those horses. He looked great. And this is a horse in Fierceness who absolutely crushed Muth in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. And I'm sitting here saying, I think Muth is a very good horse who ran a very good race yesterday. What about you?
Yeah. Oh, he did. He ran a really good race yesterday. He's not going to the Derby. So that's kind of disappointing because he's probably the second favorite, I would think, at this time, if he could run in the Derby. And he was very impressive. That was a good race. I think we need to mention one of the stories of the race, though, was D. Wayne's in the Kentucky Derby again. Just Steele ran the race of his life, but was way behind Muth. So, he dusted off everybody, did everything he was supposed to do. So, he's looking strong for the Preakness for sure.
Just Steele, I mean, just a typical Lucas horse down at Oaklawn. He ran in all 4 of the Kentucky Derby prep races at Oaklawn. Gets second in 3 of the 4. I mean, incredible, right? So, like Bree said, sees the gray. He's got a chance to make it as well. He's sitting right on the bubble. If he runs okay in the bluegrass, he'll probably have enough to be there. So
he's in the Oaks.
And he's got a horse in the Oaks as well. So
89 years old.
Yeah. I mean, it's incredible that this is going to happen. And Keith Asmussen, I mean, is likely to ride for him, I would say. Of course, he's got the filly in the Oaks that Keith Asmussen's been riding, and Keith Asmussen was aboard Just Steele yesterday. I would think he's going to keep it. So there's Keith Asmussen, and he gets his first Oaks and Derby mounts, not for his dad. No, for D. Wayne Lucas. I mean, that story in itself is pretty incredible to me.
It is. I mean, that's just an incredible story. It really, and I think D. Wayne's I don't think he'll take him off the horse. I think he'll leave him on there. That's kind of what he does. And how can he complain about the ride anyway? My goodness. He's got him up there to where he could get free, and away he went. I mean, he's a good rider. This kid's an up-and-comer for sure.
Mark brings up an hilarious thing that could happen.
Oh, yeah.
And Shotty brought it up in the Discord last night. What would happen if Keith Asmussen wins a Derby before his dad? I mean, it would be, wouldn't that be something? But look, I think with Just Steele, we kind of know that the limit is probably hitting the board because that's kind of what he's been doing. But I mean, it's a good story that he's there. And look, I mean, I think with Just Steel and Seize the Gray, if he runs well in the bluegrass, it's two horses that have earned their way. Like, it's not some kind of, well, we snuck them in last minute. Like, these two horses deserve to be in this race this year. Just Steel already for sure, and Seize the Gray if he runs well in the bluegrass.
Yeah, they've run well all winter, so yeah. It's an amazing story. And we were talking last night. Here's a horse that's already won $750,000.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely will be a millionaire before the career's over. Guarantee you. Might only win 2 or 3 races. And that's what he does. We were talking about Bravazzo from a few years back.
Yep.
What did we say? He was over $2.5 million, something like that.
Yeah, he was right around $2.5 million. He'd won 3 races lifetime.
Won 3 races and had won $2.5 million. That's kind of what D. Wayne does. He'll make you money. That's for sure. So
yeah, when he gets
an amazing story. But we can't overlook Muse. He was really good yesterday.
Yeah, he was good. Now he'll obviously be scary in the Preakness, a rested horse there. I'm sure, if he's healthy at least, we'll go right to the Preakness. So, yeah, I thought it was just a really, really solid performance, and it's just not even comparable to what Fierceness did. I mean, it's really unbelievable. And to get back to him, I don't know that they've really pinpointed what it is. I think kind of the plan's going to be just keep him out of trouble. Maybe the bumping bothers him. Maybe, he does still get a little bit intimidated. I think in the Derby, if he draws an outside post and they can kind of just keep him on his own, I really don't think they're going to beat him, and if he draws inside, maybe it becomes a lot more of a tricky situation. But for me, I went into the last 3 weekends going, okay, somebody wowed me. And I don't know how that's not a wow. I mean, it was beautiful. And, I when we were watching live, I was like, this is unbelievable. I love this. This is incredible how far he is just dominating with his field. So we shall see. It's going to be fun to see him and the lead up. He's going to continue to be a polarizing horse one way or the other.
Oh, yeah. And Mark makes a good point about Laurel River in the Dubai. Holy cow. That was another one just exploded through there. So,
yeah. I mean, it's really incredible what Laurel River did. And
you make a good point about Fierceness. If he is bothered by getting bumped by other horses, the Kentucky Derby, it's all going to be on his post, I think.
Mm-hmm.
If that is an issue, and it looks like it could be, that could be an issue for that race.
I think his Kentucky Derby is all going to be the post for sure and the break. Like, let's say he draws, let's just say 14 as a throwing number. Let's say anywhere 12 or out, he draws that post, right? If he breaks well, he's going to be faster probably to all his horses to the outside. And then it's just a matter of just kind of like getting him comfortable, getting him in the clear, getting him out in his own kind of race. I mean, if the problem really is, hey, if he gets bumped around a little bit, he kind of gets thrown off. If under that scenario that I just gave, he's faster than at least 18 of the horses that are going to be entered. And if the couple are out ahead of him, just kind of keep him wide and keep him away from him, and then attack at the top of the turn there. I really don't think it's going to be a problem. Now if it's other things that are causing him to go, one good race, one bad race, well, then it's all out the window, right? But if they think they've got it figured out and that's the problem, it's like, hey, just don't get him bumped around. Well, then it's all about, hey, if he breaks, he probably shouldn't get bumped around if he's outside. So there's still a lot. There's still those 3 races left coming up, and we could see something great, and it changes. But as you sit here right now, if you believe he can get that trip after they draw, I don't really think you can play against him, because I don't really think anybody's really close and can run that kind of race, at least until we see what happens the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, he was fabulous. No doubt. Yeah. We were looking for somebody. Now we got one.
Yep, we do have one, and we will see what happens. And he is a very much a polarizing horse. He is going to be so debated over the next 6 weeks of, oh, you're crazy for picking him. Oh, you're crazy for picking against him. Same way as last weekend, but we only had that 5 or 6 day window to debate it, but it still was the same thing. He's a horse that can make you look really dumb one way or another, and has made handicappers look really dumb one way or another, all throughout his career. So it's going to be very interesting to see how he progresses. So, all right, let's get to today. We'll go through. I've got 3 games, and then we'll do the race of the day and the best bets here. We'll kick it off North Carolina State and Duke for a spot into the Final Four today. Duke is a 7.5-point favorite against North Carolina State. What do you got for this one?
Well, first of all, I never thought either one of them would be in this situation.
No.
And they're in the same conference. They know each other extremely well. They've played each other twice already. They split. Duke won at home, and North Carolina State won at home. So Duke was great against Houston, but you lose your best player like Houston did, and it's tough to win in this, especially when you're trying to play Duke. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go with North Carolina State to cover or to beat the spread. I think Duke's going to win. I think that's a little bit too much points. I think State's going to play them pretty close. I do. Will Duke let down a little bit? Probably not, because they're seasoned. Duke knows what to do and stuff like this. But I think it's too many points. I wanted to play Duke today, but I didn't want to take 7.5. So I'm going to go North Carolina State and the points.
Yeah, I'm taking North Carolina State and the points as well here. I think it'll be a tight game. I think this one will be a toss-up. 2 teams that know each other. But I don't know. I think I was very much locked into this tournament until the Sweet 16, and then it's kind of been like, boy, this has been a rough weekend here. So I'm not real locked into this, but I do think North Carolina State plus 7.5 seems to be the logical play for this one. All right. Well, you have the best bet coming up for the other games, so we won't talk about it. So we will talk about a couple of baseball games as we kind of get the opening weekend over with today. And we're going to start with the Braves and the Phillies. The Braves have been in Philly here, and they've won 2 in a row. They're 2-0 to start the year against a tough Philadelphia team. Today, Atlanta minus 145. The total sits at 8.5. What do you think about Braves Phillies today?
Well, too early for me in baseball to get any kind of a read. I mean, we know the Braves are really good. We know the Phillies they're always tough. Braves won the first 2. I'm going law of averages today. I'm going to take the Phillies to win. I just don't think the Braves are going to sweep them.
You could have got the Phillies at plus 110 and 1 plus 15 the first 2 games of this series, and boy, was that tempting. I almost did it both days and stayed away. And my thought process on this was, it's a long season. I can play the Phillies 159 games after this series if I want to, minus when they play the Braves. Why do I want to fade Atlanta to start the season? And Philadelphia looked like the smart play in the first game of this series, and they lost the lead. And then Atlanta just blitzed them yesterday. I'm going to go Atlanta. I'm staying away from betting it because I don't want to take minus 145, but I'm picking Atlanta to win the game today over the Phillies and get the sweep. I think this game is interesting. The next one we're going to talk about. The Cardinals and the Dodgers. Very tough ask of the Cardinals to open up in LA against the Dodgers. The Cardinals bounce back. They get a win last night, 6-5 in extra innings. They got a little bit lucky. Yamamoto was rolling. And then once in a million years, a downpour happens in LA. They delay the game for an hour or 2, and Yamamoto has to come out of the game, and they win it on the bullpen. We got Mats against Stone today. Dodgers minus 185. What do you think about this one?
Well, I would never bet minus 185 in a baseball game, would you?
Not a chance. No.
So total 8.5. I don't know. I don't like that either. I don't know whether the Cardinals can get another win or not. That was a good win for them last night. I don't care if they were lucky. They needed that one.
Big time.
How do you bet this? I mean, what do you got? Do you go the minus 1.5 or?
The minus 1.5 is a plus money play on the Dodgers.
That's what I'd have to take.
I think that makes sense. I would go over this 8.5 total. I think with Mats against Stone is maybe the one pitch. I mean, Gavin Stone's not bad, but maybe the one pitcher where it's like, okay, yeah, maybe the Cardinals are going to get some runs. And look, the Dodgers, my goodness, are they hitting but they're not going to cover off the ball already. I think over the 8.5 makes the most sense here. if you're going to take a side, I think the Dodgers minus a run and a half at plus 105 does make sense, unless you do just want to lay that minus 190 or parlay the Dodgers up with somebody else that you really like today. You could do that. I don't think the Cardinals at plus 160. I still don't think that's a good enough price to play.
No.
Yeah.
No, that's too risky anyway, no matter what the price is.
Yeah. And the Cardinals always beat us on this show. That's kind of the joke there. I thought the Cardinals, I thought they would struggle in this series. I think that's a real pivotal early game for them. If they could get out there and go 2-2 in the series, that'd be good. But I do lean Dodgers. I think they'll get the job. They usually play
the Dodgers pretty tough. The Cardinals do.
Well, they're usually a little bit better, and they're coming off such a horrible season that you just don't really know. I think the Cardinals, I still think they're going to be a lot better this year. I don't know how much, but I do think they're going to be better. But we'll see. This will be an interesting game tonight for sure. And the Cardinal fans who were just in an uproar after the first 2 games where they just got waxed. Mm-hmm. Now, all of a sudden, they won last night. If they win tonight, they're 2-2 leaving LA, and that's pretty good. So
I would have taken that. When I went out there.
For sure. All right, let's go to the race of the day today. We're going to go to Gulfstream Park for this one. Only 4 tracks running today. One of those rare days that's not Christmas where we're a little light with horse racing. That doesn't happen very often. So 4 tracks running. We're going to go to Gulfstream Park, race 10 on the card. This seems like a tricky one to me, Papa Dude. Mm-hmm. An allowance going 5 furlongs on the turf. Who do you like here?
Well, I settled on 2, the 6 and the 9.
Yeah.
And the 6 don't look back at all. Coming off a second place in a stakes race at Aqueduct. Won an allowance there in September, coming off a long layoff. Hasn't ran since the 19th of October. So that could play a factor in this as well. But I do like the way the horses run. He's got speed. So he's going to go to the front. The 5 might go with him, Wide West. I kind of looked at a little bit as well. But I think he can hold him off. So he may get out on the front. Nobody goes and gets him. It's kind of happened in some of his races. He's had a win in July last year, went to the front. Nobody ever caught him. Same thing in September, went to the front. No one ever caught him. So that could happen. Then the 9 St. Pat's Day is coming off a win here at Gulfstream. Won by 1 3/4 in a similar race, Florida bred, and an open company, I think. So taking a step up, but he's won 4 of the last 6, but they've been a little bit lesser. I'm going to go with the 6. Don't look back at all. And I'm going to put the 9 in second. So I'm going to go 6-9.
Yeah, we got the same horses and we flipped them. I put the 9 on top of the 6, but yeah, I'm with you. I think these are the 2 horses to beat. The 9 St. Pat's Day, I thought last time out, very good getting back to the turf. He's actually, I should say, has actually won 2 races in a row, win on the turf, went to the synthetic and did okay there as well, winning 2 out of 4 before moving back to the turf. Only problem is, boy, Paco Lopez had a rough day yesterday at Gulfstream, so we'll see if he can turn it around. But I do like the 9. I think the 9 is coming into this race fine, and I think makes a ton of sense and has that form where the 6, like you said, coming off of a layoff, might need a race before we see her at absolute best. But I think those are the 2 must-uses. The 1 to me, Call Me Spicy, was a little bit interesting as well. Another horse getting back to the turf, ran 3rd at this level last time out. So, or last time on the turf, I should say. So that's an interesting horse as well as a long shot. If you think the pace is going to come back to him a little bit, I think the 1 makes sense from the rails. So I went 9, 6, and 1. All right, let's get to the best bets. Let's stick at Gulfstream for Magix. He's not here, but he did phone in this best bet today. He's going to go Gulfstream Park, race 6, number 4, Far Bridge for Magic today. This is a horse, if you were like, okay, who is Far Bridge? I remember this horse. Won the Belmont Derby, actually, last year. And then was 3rd in the Saratoga Derby. Went up to the Dueling Grounds Derby at Kentucky Downs, ran 2nd. So those are 3 big time races. And if you count the Pennine Ridge before those races, that's 4 big time races in a row where this horse was right there. Gets first start as a 4-year-old today and will now run in allowance company. So dropping down in class to start off the season. So looks to be the class of the race for sure. Back trained by Christophe Clement. I thought this was interesting. Clement trained the horse for the first 2 starts. Then it went to Pletcher. Now it's back to Clement. So we'll see what happens. Number 4, Far Bridge in the 6th race for Magic. That's going to be his best bet of the day. All right, let's go to you for yours here. I said it was the other basketball game, so we'll talk about it now.
Okay. I couldn't really find anything in sports today. I've been doing pretty well with hockey, but hockey only got 1 game on the slate. I almost took an NBA game, but I went ahead and went with Purdue. I was pretty impressed with them the other night. I thought they played really well against Gonzaga. Tennessee is a very good team, and they play well defensively. I think this is going to be a slugfest. I just think Purdue's a little bit better, and the line is doable. 3.5. I could see them pulling away a little bit there late and winning by 6 or 7. I like the Boilermakers today a lot. I kind of want them to get in because we'll have 2 number 1 seeds in the tournament. And then we've got a team, I just want to mention, I would have never picked Alabama in the Final Four in 100 years. I just never would have.
Nope.
I would have picked North Carolina State before I would have Alabama. I don't know why. There's a possibility, though, we're going to get Alabama in and North Carolina State. But what a job Alabama's done. Man, they have been impressive. They have really played well. They can shoot it. They've been on fire. So anyway, I would never have picked them in a million years. I like Purdue today. I think they cover, and I've got them at minus 3.5.
All right, minus 3.5 on Purdue. I'm with you. I think Purdue's going to win this game today. Hopefully they cover for you. I know how it is. It's going to be close. We know that, but I do think Purdue minus 3.5 makes a ton of sense. And it's kind of a monkey off the back game. You know, Purdue wins. That they're in the Final Four. Tennessee wins. That's a team that's kind of struggled to make it all the way to the Final Four. They would get in. I'm totally with you. The Alabama thing shocks me. Absolutely shocks me that they're in the Final Four. I could not believe it, but they earned it. I mean, they played very well against North Carolina, and they looked like it wasn't going to go well against Clemson, and they beat them. They came back and played really well. So give them credit.
Yep.
All right, Purdue minus 3.5 for you. I'm going to go to the Diamond. I'm going to go to the Orioles minus a 1.5 here, sitting at plus 140 today. Look, I've played the minus 1.5 with the Orioles the first 2 games of this series and got plus 115 both days. Now you're getting plus 140. You're getting a little bit higher of a price here today because the pitching matchup isn't quite as favorable as it was the first 2 days. You got Detmers on the mound for the Angels. He's not horrible. Wells on the mound for the Baltimore Orioles, a little bit of a hit and miss type of guy. But look, I think the Angels are a horrible team. And I think I kind of went into the series going, okay, I'm fading the Angels all 3 games of this. Let's see what the prices are, and I'll play accordingly. Plus one, like I said, plus 115 Thursday, and then they had the day off, and then plus 115 yesterday. Blowout wins, very easily done. Maybe your theory of the law of averages, maybe the Angels play it close today or even win. I don't think so. I just think Baltimore is a very good team, going to have a great year. And I think the Angels, I view the Angels not as bad as Oakland and Colorado, but maybe like the 3rd worst team in the league this year. I just don't think they're very good. So I think Wells is good enough to beat them by a 1.5 today. And then when you get to the bullpens, I don't think it's even close. So that'll be the key. Get Detmers out, and I think they're gonna get it done pretty easy. So Baltimore Orioles minus a 1.5 at plus 140 for me. I've got a bonus question for you.
Okay.
Because I know you follow this.
Oh, really?
Tomorrow night is the basketball game that I've been looking forward to more than any other basketball game, NBA or men's college basketball. LSU Iowa rematch in the Elite 8 tomorrow night, 6:00 Central, ESPN. Iowa's a 1.5 point favorite in this game. What is going to happen in this rematch from LSU Iowa?
Well, we got the bitch of the West on the
yeah.
And I say that not to be mean. It's just kind of the way she acts, and
it's the narrative for sure. Yeah.
And she's going to be wound up for this one. I think LSU's better. I do. Because the thing with Iowa, if Clark is off, they're going to struggle a little bit. She's got to play great, and she usually does. I'm with you. I'm looking forward to this one. I wish it was on today. I'm going to have to take LSU, I think. I can't bet against them. She'll have them ready. They're mean. I think they'll try to bully her around a little bit. And, she's kind of the darling of the tournament. She's going to get some calls, I think, that will go her way. But it's going to be a fascinating game. If you just like to watch a good basketball game, doesn't matter whether it's girls or boys, watch this one. This is going to be a classic, I think. I really do.
I can't wait, and I'm going LSU all the way. I'm not betting against Kim Mulkey. You can forget it.
I'm not either.
That's my rule. I don't ever bet against Kim Mulkey. I think she's one of the best coaches, period. No matter men, women, whatever. I could not care less how she acts, how she dresses. She is a tremendous basketball coach. And if she was if we had a coaching opening, men or women, she'd be number one on my list. I think she's incredible. I think she's got this team galvanized. I think this us against the world stuff just feeds into how this team is. They are dying to play this game. Now, the flip side of it is Caitlin Clark is incredible, and Iowa's very good. Okay.
They are.
Am I going to be shocked if Iowa beats them? No, absolutely not. I think Iowa is a fantastic team. I think they're going to be very tough to beat. Give me LSU. I think they're going to be ready. You can call them dirty. You can call them nasty all you want.
Well, they are.
I absolutely love to watch them. So give me LSU. I'm a huge I hate LSU, but I'm a huge LSU women's basketball fan.
Well, I can't go there, but I'm rooting for Iowa, but I don't know if they can get it done. It's going to be, when I saw they made it, I didn't know whether both of them would make it or not. I thought, oh boy. And if you don't think LSU is going to be ready for this one, you're crazy, because they're going to be ready.
I have like the total when it comes to this, and I don't know why I'm the total I am rooting for LSU so hard, and I rooted for them so hard last year too. Like, I like the bad guys in this situation. I love it.
Bad girls.
Well, bad girls in this situation. Yeah, I like the heels. I like the team that you're supposed to boo. No, I'm all for it. Go LSU. I think they have been terribly mistreated by the media, whether it be the players or the coach. I think what happened last year, they just totally blew that out of proportion. And I think LSU, like I said, I'm rooting for them. So I hope they get it done today or tomorrow. Tomorrow's 6:00. So, all right, let's go to the best bets. It should be a lot of fun. That game tomorrow night. We may go on live. We're not, but we might, but we're not. All right, let's go to the best bets today. Baltimore Orioles minus a run and a half here at plus 140 for me. Magic's going to go Gulfstream Park race 6, number 4 Far Bridge. Papa Dude going with Purdue minus 3.5. I bet you didn't think you'd pick Purdue in the Elite Eight minus 3.5 when this thing started, did you?
Well, no, not really, but I saw their road to there, and I thought they could get, if they just played, I thought they would get there. Mm-hmm. And to me, the pressure's off them a little bit now. I think just getting through this to the Sweet 16 really helped them. They got some shooters. They're a different Purdue team than what we've seen in the past. They're just really good on offense. Mm-hmm. And if they shoot the ball well on the outside, I think they're going to win. So that's the big if. See if they can do it.
Yep. We'll see what happens. All right, guys. We are 5-4 for the week, down $115, still up $663 for the year. So hoping to get that turned back around. We get a couple wins today at least. All right, guys. Thanks everybody for watching this week. We'll be back next week. More Dudes Who Bet Daily. We'll have a lot more to cover. All right, guys. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next week.